welcome to Kiddick Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River Valley. And as you can see, if you've been following the series, we're in the third week of December. We're almost done with year 3 here. We've been hauling a ton of our liquid manure up to the sell point just to create some capacity. And I think that was our last load for a while here. We'll jump right into the numbers here. We've got a couple of things we need to focus on today so we can get into the spring. First off, though, you'll notice that our slurry is actually empty in this barn and pretty much emptied out in these other two. But the other thing you'll notice is our food levels are getting into the red, dangerously low. We've got a couple days worth of feed left on this barn. This one will be fine for a while. But our primary barn, the only one actually making us money right now, we're down to 50,000 feed. And we're using up 200 per day. So we've got to do something about this right away. And so what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can start buying some hay and making more TMR and trying to crunch the numbers and seeing if that's profitable. We're going to continue keeping our slurry unloading here because it's quite a slow process. We like to keep those semis moving as much as possible. And what I have done off camera here is a little bit of work in the XML files to do a couple of things. Actually, this one required me to edit not just the XML file, but the i3D for this fermenting silo. We made this a bale trigger now, so I can dump my bales directly into the harvest store. You'll notice that we've got some hay stored in there. In fact, let's just bring up the menu here. You can see I added a TMR mixing production, so it's going to take 750 silage, 250 hay, and output 1,000 TMR. This is the ratios that I've been using when I've been mixing it by hand, and the goal here is just to make this a little bit easier. I decided to keep the not terribly expensive, but the same cost per month here to run the production. It's $24 a month. It's not a big deal. But that's what all these other productions were set at. So we kept that. We're going to try and keep ourselves honest. I tossed one bale in here just to test things out. And as you can see, it's already starting to tick over into TMR. So it should be able to use this silage that we've got in the storage, and it's now showing our hay as a storage capacity on this screen too. So I'm extremely happy with how this turned out. It looked like this is going to work pretty well for us. And as you can see, our biogas plant is cranking away on this slurry. Since we did move a day ahead, we're getting through it now that we've increased the cycles per month on this. And I'm feeling pretty good about this as well. Several of you in the comments have suggested that I switch this to selling. I might do that if we get full up again rather than hauling semi-loads out. I just want to be able to keep some in here because this is what I plan on using to fertilize all of my fields with moving forward. So with those housekeeping items out of the way, the other thing that we need to do is we need a bunch of bales. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our delivery point right over here. We're going to take things easy, make things easy on ourselves and have the bales delivered. We're going to buy some bales to get us through our feed crisis because we are straight up out of hay. We don't have any hay left. And I'll be honest, since most of y'all voted in the comments to keep the enhanced animal system mod on the save here, we're going to have to streamline quite a bit of things to keep things moving here. And this is going to work out great so that I can buy a stack of bales and have them just get eaten up by this. I'm beginning to think a good chunk of my viewers kind of like to watch me struggle a bit too much for my liking, but we're going to stick this out. I did put it up for a vote, and the vote came in, and people want to see me try and keep up with the enhanced animal system mod. So that's what we're going to do now that I've got some feed in the container here, or in the silo here. We're going to move the clock forward 1 hour. I don't want to go too far because I'm really worried about running out of feed in our bin, but 1 hour should be enough to generate that TMR into enough to go feed those cows. So let's check this out, make sure this is all working. We've got almost 66 cubic yards of feed here. If I come in here, yeah, we're right on the edge there. We don't want to go too far forward. I could probably afford to go a couple more hours, but we don't need to. We'll take this load up and get it mixed. We're still looking decent on the silage. It's not great. We've got 114 cubic yards here. I really need to remember what the buttons are to change the unit convert thing over so I could see it in pounds or something else at some point too, but that's all right. I've seen Thundar has been doing some updates to a bunch of his mods lately. I probably need to go and get some updates one of these days. And as you can see, the snow has come in here as we're into December, and it's slowing us down. I probably need to invest in some snow removal equipment here on the save, just to clean up the main part of the yard. You can see a lot of tire tracks here. We've been just kind of plowing through it over the last couple of days off camera, trying to keep these barns full up on feed and move that slurry and stuff around. So it's not quite deep enough where I absolutely have to empty the yard, but we're getting pretty close. Double check. This is going into the right barn here. Perfect. You know, I could honestly probably just now set this auto drive course off on a circular thing, and if we start moving the time forward a little bit more, well, let's say 15x, I'm guessing it's going to start making some more feed, and this guy will just go reload himself and bring it back out here to the barn once there's enough feed to kind of keep moving. And that's going to free us up to do a few other things that we need to do on the farm here. So there's two other things we sort of need to figure out. The first one is how we're going to continue to move this slurry in an efficient manner. And that's going to be a little bit hard with all this snow on the ground. But my thinking is that we actually create a path to drive down this hill from the other side. You can see through the snow tracks here. I've actually done this off camera a couple of times, and it works out. It's just a little bit steep. And so I think if we can smooth that out and put a track in there, we very well could have an easy auto drive course that'll handle doing all of this slurry without the need to back up, which would be pretty awesome if we could pull that off. So we're gonna go get this slurry emptying into our BGA here real quick, since there is quite a bit of capacity to hold some more in there. And then with the other semi, which is empty now, I believe, and should be heading back up to the farm, we'll see if we can create a new course here. Now it looks like he got stuck at the gate. The snow does make the roads a little bit slippery, and sometimes my semis have been overshooting their turns with all of this weight in behind them. That's all right. We'll get over here and take care of it. Let's see if we can do this without having to resort to any super strength or anything. I think in this case he just missed the turn, slipped into that gate a little bit there. Not too bad. Oh, we need some fuel on this guy too. Let's see if I can sneak in here and get to the fuel tank then. Move this other semi out of the way. Well, as long as I'm in this guy, let's go get him starting to unload at the BGA, and then I'll jump over there and get the fuel going again. I'm so glad the BGA has this rather large trigger for dumping things in. I've got things set up not in the best spot for turning into that area, and we'll get some fuel in this truck here. And if we go ahead and look at the animal menu here, we don't have that much slurry left. It looks like this smaller barn by the harvest store is what needs to be emptied next. So I'm gonna back up just a little bit, see if I can make this turn before I hit the milk tanks. Definitely feeling the effects of that snow though. If we get any more snow, I'm definitely gonna have to get some snow removal equipment. Right now it's just manageable. I feel like this milk tank is in the worst possible spot for me getting around to the manure tanks though. I'm always worried I'm gonna crush right into that. We'll get our tanks opened up here, and perfect. We can get that all filling up now. Just gonna run back across the road here. I can't recall if I actually left this thing emptying. I did. Very good, very good. Check on this. Everything's running here. Everything's running here. I think we're in a good spot now, finally. This is probably waiting for some more to be made. Yep, it's going to fill up before we move on. If I just take a quick look here, I've still got enough for another day. I don't quite have enough to move forward by a day here yet, so this is my big hang up. I am going to move the time forward at a faster rate here, though, and hopefully this guy will keep up with the feed over in that other barn. This is an almost full load now, which should be enough to get us into the next day. I'm just going to keep the clock moving. We've got to get ourselves into spring, get some more jobs on the clock here. I've got plenty of hay, but we just ran out of silage, of all things. Which is going to be fun. That means it's time to open up some of these silage bags and get that silage moved into the harvest store. I'm going to go ahead and go grab our 7810 and an auger, I think, to get that all set up. And then we'll probably switch one of the semis over to the forage trailers, the silage trailers, and use one of those to haul this up into the harvest store. I'm gonna have to turn this baler around, put it in the shed. Should have done that to begin with. I apparently didn't wash this piece of equipment up or do any repairs or anything when we got done with baling season. Shame on me. I feel like I got the rest of our equipment cleaned up and refueled before we put it away for the year, but this one got left behind. So I left the time going on 120 for a little bit too long there. I wasn't paying attention. So now we're well into the evening. It's starting to get dark out here. Turn on our ultra bright fluorescent lights, and we're gonna hook up to this auger. I want to get this thing hooked up and get a little bit more of our silage and TMR mixing before we advance through the night. I'm just not confident I've got enough feed to survive the night with that barn. And I think what we're gonna do to make our lives easy, starting out at least, is we're gonna go empty this bag that's right over by the harvest store, just because there's so much snow and we've got more snow coming down. I'm a little bit nervous that if we don't take care of our feed problem right out of the gate, we're gonna regret it. And what happened with that bag? It looks like it shifted inside of the building. How long has that been that way? I don't even know. I blame the cold meds. I've been, apologies as well, I've been suffering from a pretty intense cold the last few days. And so if there's a little bit of heavy mouth breathing or some coughs that get missed during editing, I do apologize. But this is absolutely ridiculous. Let's see if I can fix this real quick. Is that a little better? That's a little better, although look at that bounce around. All right, we'll take care of it by emptying it out. So I'm gonna raise this auger up a bit, and we're just gonna bring it right back into the bag here. Hopefully the snow is getting me. I can't turn my auger the way that I want to. All right, we're gonna hope that that's far enough in. And what's going on with this driver? Didn't get full. Waiting for more, but there is no more. We'll send you on your way. And let's go grab this semi over here, I think, since I'm almost positive this is going to be all filled up. Yeah, that's all right. We're going to grab the semi then and go get ourselves a trailer. Now, one of the great things about the fact that we've made so much money with the Enhanced Animal System mod is that we now own literally all of our equipment. We don't have any leases out on anything as far as I know. And so now I should be able to finally remove the extra axles that we got on this thing because we thought it would look cool. And in practice, it turned out that it was just a bit much. And then we can customize this. And we're going to take this down to, can I do this? Like this. We'll do 3 axles with 1 lift. That should be better. That should work out quite a bit better. We'll try that. It's only $500. I can always come in and remove that 3rd axle if it starts to cause us problems. But I think this should turn significantly better and give me a little bit of support in certain situations. And there's our mixer wagon already back. I was hoping he'd be taking a little bit longer so that I could sneak in here without him being in the way, but it worked out. And there we go. We're filling up on silage at a snail's pace here. It is what it is. Let's jump over here. We're going to just go ahead and shut this down for the time being. Maybe we'll back it up a bit just to make sure I got some room, because I might need to back this semi up once it gets full to maneuver around in such a tight space. And just taking a quick look here, we do have enough now that I'd feel comfortable getting into the morning at least of the next day. But before we do that, I just want to get the silage into the harvest store here so that we can be making TMR while I advance the time overnight. So I'm gonna jump past this real quick. I'm not gonna make you guys sit here and watch me fill up a trailer the slow way. We'll be right back. Well, that took a few minutes, that's for sure. I'm gonna back up just a little bit, try and get a tighter turn on this semi. And hopefully I'm not going to have any problems dumping this straight in there. I think since it's used as an input to something now, I should be able to dump it in without problems. And there we go. It's working good. All right, so this is going into our storage now. If I take a look here, that's adding up. This is going. Hay is in there. I think we're all good to go. Well, with that, I'm going to let it finish emptying, and then we're going to actually sleep for the night. It's December 3rd, so we're not quite there. I can't wait till January, because January is when our other barn starts becoming productive, I think. But we won't get to that just yet. What I am going to do, I'm going to move this guy back around and start unloading another batch of silage into the truck. And then we will sleep. I'm not even touching that wall. We'll sleep through the night and see what the financial situation brings us. We have paid down a lot of our loan now as well, and so I'm really excited about where we're at. In fact, let's pay down just a little bit more of the loan since we've got the money to do it. We're going to pay all the way down to there. We're at 1.565 on the loan, so we've paid off half of our loan now, in addition to, let's make sure I'm not lying about this, getting rid of all of our leased items. I think we're also done leasing any of our fields. I think we own all of these now, so we're not leasing anything at all. We're in a really good spot. Let's go ahead and sleep. And there you go. You can see we're only paying what, $1,500 a day, and we got $213,000 for our sold milk. That's pretty good. And then we managed to keep all of the cows going for the day and then some on buying one batch of feed. We're so low on feed in that bin, but we managed to keep at least that group of cows going, buying one batch of the hay. And if we just take a look in the menu here, I do still have a fair bit of hay left in here and a fair bit of mixed rations made now, which is a good sign because it only costs me 10K to buy that much, 11, 12K to buy that much hay. And so we're going to do that one more time just while I'm thinking about it and have that all delivered here. And then we should be able to make enough feed, I think, in a day to keep all of our cattle fed by doing that once per day. So we're not really cutting into our profits too much by having to buy the feed. I do want to get back to seeing if we can make this farm self-sustaining, but we've got a little ways to go before then. So while that fills up, I think we can go ahead now and get our feed mixer going again. I'm gonna have to mix up another round of feed so that we can keep moving the days forward here on the farm. The goal being, I want to get to January. I want to see that extra money come in. All of this time feeding all of these cows in these other two barns, it's going to be such a great feeling when we're bringing in profits off of 2 full barns. I mean, think about it, folks. We're feeding 3 full barns worth of cows right now, but we're only getting money out of 1 of them. Once the other 2 barns start making some money here, we're going to be sitting pretty rich. And I'm thinking by the time spring rolls around with all these profits coming in, we're going to be able to afford some pretty nice upgrades for the farm. I'm so glad this is a low traffic road, or we'd have some problems loading on the road for all intents and purposes like we are right now. But we've got everything moving now. I think I don't have any complaints. we're almost done pulling out of this silage bag, so we're going to have to move this whole setup to a new location here shortly. But we've managed to get another full load of TMR over into this barn. I've got another day's worth of food here before I have to worry about anything. So yeah, it looks like I'm going to need about 2 full loads of TMR into this barn to keep it moving every day. Not a huge concern. We're cranking away on it. But we are going to have to keep moving the time forward to be able to keep producing that TMR. I think the harvester is going to keep up, though. I don't think the problem is the rate at which we're able to mix it. I think we just need to make sure we're keeping enough silage in the harvester to keep things moving. Our ag bag is here. We're going to be able to use this again in the future. So let me go ahead and toss this in the shed so that we've got it in a useful place as opposed to left lying on the ground where I know I'll forget about it. At least if it's in the shed, there's a chance I'll remember it's in there when the time comes to use it in the future. And this tractor's going to be very sad that I'm about to block its path, so that's all right. We'll have to hop over there and help him come to the realization that he's not getting through. Or I guess actually that semi's already done. We could have probably just let him wait for a second. I thought there was more silage in there than there was. I'll go ahead and pull him around out of the way. We'll get this feed mixer moving again. And I need to get this auger moved somewhere. Let's see. Shut it down. Oh, I guess I can't lower it down. I'm going to lower it down. And then we're going to shut it down. And then we're going to grab this tractor. I moved it around the corner. I thought we were going to be about done with it, but apparently not. Well, that's fascinating. How is the back tire up in the air like that? There must be an invisible object there of some kind. Maybe it's the snow. Who knows? You'd think at 10:30 in the morning I wouldn't need my lights on. It should be a little bit more light than this, I would think, but it feels like it's practically dark here. Here we go. We've got the auger. Let's go find us some silage bags. I know I've got 2 over by the bins. And then I think there's a 3rd or 4th over by the hay shed there. I can't remember where we put all these silage bags. We're going to have to find them, though, for sure. I think what we'll do is we'll start with the ones sticking out by the bins. Yeah, there's definitely 2 over there. We'll get these ones by the bins first, just because. We'll see where it goes from there. Although getting a semi up on this hill with all the snow might be a little interesting. We'll have to see. We'll leave that tractor there. I'm sure I'll get it started again despite the snow and being out in the middle of nowhere. And we'll set the auger up, something like that. Should work pretty good. As long as I can get the semi back here, we should be in a good spot. It's still snowing though, which is gonna start causing a problem. I feel like the snow in the yard is definitely stacking up more and more here. I was hoping to avoid the whole snow removal hassle this year, but given how much feed we're gonna be making over the next couple of months, that might not be possible. If we get this semi stuck out here, I'm gonna have regrets, I know that much. At least the tractor made some good tracks for us to get out here. We'll see what happens when I'm trying to get back up into the yard. Uh-oh. I think we're starting to get stuck. You can do it. I need a 4-wheel drive semi. There we go. All right. You sit there and get filled up. I'm sure you'll be so much easier to move around in all this snow once you're full, because that's how it works. And it looks like our tractor's got another full load already coming back around to barn B here. Just checking, we're getting there. Not quite enough to move a full day forward, but we could probably get through the night. This barn is starting to get low too. I really want to get into January here. This has been another lengthy episode of managing all the animals and such, but I think we're really starting to get things streamlined here. And this is going to mean that I don't have to worry about feeding animals anymore. I mean, that guy's just been making rounds on his own for a little while now, which is exactly what we were hoping for. And the next thing that we need to automate is really these slurry tanks. I just need to get some better auto drive courses for the craziness of this yard so that the semis can get in here and do their thing. I think this one will actually be pretty easy. since there's such a wide trigger to it. Just looking here, we're almost done with the slurry out of that one. So what I'm going to do, we're going to fire this up. I know the snow is pretty hefty here. We're going to see if this is going to work out the way I think it should, though. And I'll show you guys what I mean by smoothing out the land on the backside of the shed. We may have to remove some of these bushes too that we've got alongside this shed, but if we come down this way, it's really not as steep as it looks. There is the slightest point where the wheels will come off the ground occasionally, but I can just kind of move right down into here. And so that's why I think if we just smooth that out a little bit more, got rid of those bushes, that I could create a pretty easy auto drive course that runs right through here and connects up with the path that I've already got heading out of the pasture there. So that's my plan. I just want to get the snow out of my way so that I can do the landscaping to that a little bit easier. But we're not going to worry about that right now. We'll worry about that once the snow's gone here, or I get tired of doing it manually. But right now, with how big these unrealistic size tankers are, it hasn't been a huge problem for us. We've got the feed going on. Yeah, I think everything's really moving along here. I'm going to go check on this semi over on the other side of the bin site here. Make sure that we're getting full and we can go dump this back into the harvest store so we can keep making feed. And then we're going to move the time forward here into January, and hopefully we'll see that we're starting to make money on more than one set of our barns. We're heading back up into the yard. We've got a full load here. It took a little bit longer than I was expecting. It's starting to get dark, and we do keep getting hung up on the snow here. I think the feet on my trailer jacks tend to cause me a little bit of problems every time we get over something that's got a little bit of a hump there. We've been running into trouble with the trailer here. It's unfortunate, but we can usually get past it with a couple of tries. So I'll get this emptying out, and then we'll take a look at our year-end financials. I'm really excited. This is the end of 3 years on UMRV, and we'll be heading into year 4 and seeing how things go with a lot of money in the bank to be able to spend on stuff. I suppose before the night ticks over as well, I'm going to have to find a moment to spend that $300,000 down on our loan. We want to see our debt get paid off as much as possible here before we end the year. I want to shift to go a little bit faster, but I don't want the part where I slow down and potentially get stuck to happen. It's always a trade-off with these manual transmission setups. There we go. All right, let's go into the financial screen. We'll take a quick look at where we're at. Repay down as much as we've got sitting here. Perfect. All right, so you can see we're at about 1.26 million in debt still. We made $1,300,000 profit. 400,000 of which is this biogas plant income. You can see that's been pretty consistent. And then we sold off some harvest income. I think it was the slurry we sold directly. And then the milk sales here, you can see have been pretty consistent. The 900 to 800,000 across the different months here. So we're sitting in a pretty good spot. I can't wait to see this double up. That's going to be a pretty nice bump in our income. All right, well, that is what it is. Let's go ahead and get this trailer back over there to start filling up while we move the time forward. Looks like our feed mixer is going to keep doing its thing. These stupid pallets, I hit them every time, I feel like. And here we go, passing midnight. We're down to just over $1,200 of nightly costs here. Nothing terrible at all. I'm digging it. And then we move our time forward just a few more hours here to, I believe it's 6 o'clock, $172,000 in milk. So our milk prices have gone down here. They do fluctuate based on how long it's been since the last birth, which is something we do have to keep our eye on. But we're now into January, and you can see that these cows are not at a point where they are in puberty anymore. So we're officially able to start reproducing. They are still being listed as heifers, though, which I think is true until they've had their first set of cows. So now I'm wondering if they're gonna make me wait for a reproduction cycle before we have milk, which would be realistic. But let's go here. We've been waiting on these for 18 months. I thought we were about to start making money. They're eating feed at an accelerated rate. We should be hopefully producing something here soon. So we'll see. We'll see when the milk starts coming. But realistically, it shouldn't start until they give birth the first time, I suppose. Our TMR situation is doing well. We've used up all that hay, but we do have just a smidge of silage left, not a lot. And I'm just looking here, we're hardly keeping up with the feed on the cows, so we do need to keep going. These are gonna need more feed now. Man, the feed situation is just gonna be a thing here for us. That's all right. We've managed to streamline it for the most part now, so we're gonna buy some more bales, get that part going. That's gonna keep us in the hay for a little while. And then we just need to keep moving the silage over here. I'm not a big fan of the dark here, though. We're going to have to think that through. I hate recording in the dark, and I know everybody's saying I should change this to selling, so we're going to start selling this off just because I know we're going to have a lot more slurry before we need to get in there. Time to bring this up and either start dumping this one, or I might need to start dumping the other one to get it out of the way. I kind of left the tanker sitting right over the dump point. I didn't think I'd be hijacking that semi to move silage for as long as we have. So let me see if we can get this over there and get some silage moving into that digestate. And I don't even know if I'll have room to swing around onto the other side of this trailer. That's kind of what I was hoping I could do. I guess we can try it and see what happens. That did not work out so well. We're gonna drop that one real quick. Nudge my way in here. Why is it going forward? I definitely put it into reverse. I don't think it likes having two trailers in the same zone, unfortunately, because I'd really rather empty this trailer out before the other one. So I'm gonna pull forward and then I'm gonna try and back into this zone again with this trailer. Oh, I had it for a second there. Well, I guess we'll unload from here. And that's definitely going up, I think. Yes, it is. So at some point, this thing stopped filling silage. I don't know what went wrong, so I'm going to try and shuffle it around just a little bit here. There we go. Sometimes it just needs to be in a better position. So we're not full in this semi yet. That's unfortunate. Well, let me take a look at where we're at feed-wise. I think we can afford to move the time forward at least a couple of hours to get out of this eternal darkness that we seem to find ourselves in. And I'm going to slow us down a bit until we get more silage over there, because we're not making any feed right now. And that's going to be a problem pretty soon. And we're finally got this load of silage all filled up now. Getting back up here to the yard for, I think, what'll be our last load of the episode here. Like I said, this has been kind of the second episode in a row that we've been monkeying around with feeding our animals and dealing with all the logistical issues that are coming with having so many animals on the farm. But I do think we've got enough silage to get us through to spring at least. We'll have to see if we make it all the way through the summer. I'm hopeful, though, that we've got enough to get through the summer, but what I'm most concerned about right now is just whether or not we can get through the snowy season here. If I get any more snow, right now we're really kind of starting to struggle. The snow has stayed okay, but it's still coming down now all of a sudden, and that's going to start adding up, which is going to be a real problem for us. So maybe next episode will just be me digging ourselves out of all this snow, or maybe we'll finally be into spring and we can see what kind of upgrades we're going to have. Let me know in the comments what you think we should upgrade first on the farm. We've got a lot of decent equipment, but I think it's time to start bringing in those spring upgrades. I don't think we need to worry about our harvest equipment just yet, because at the rate we make money with these cows right now, we're going to have a lot more money by the time fall rolls around. So we'll worry about upgrading the harvesting side of things when we get there. But let me know what you think we should be running this spring for our equipment. We are going to need to be putting in a fair amount of corn, I'm guessing, for silage and maybe some other stuff too. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts in the comments though. And yeah, I think this is a great place to wrap things up. Hopefully you've enjoyed the episode. If you have, hit that like button, helps me out a lot. And that's going to be all for today. Kedrick out. Hello and welcome to Kedrick Farms. We're back with another episode of UMRV Upper Mississippi River. Can't even get through the intro without an accident.